The courtroom fell into a heavy silence as the judge announced a decision. The atmosphere, which had been thick with tension and anxiety, suddenly shifted into disbelief and awe. The defendant, Michael Weston, sat still, his heart racing, as the words echoed in the room. He had been wrongfully accused of robbery and murder, and for weeks he had fought to prove his innocence. Today, that fight had come to an unexpected but victorious conclusion. Michael's lawyer, Emma Stone, stood beside him, her expression calm yet filled with quiet pride. The judge had just declared that the prosecution's case was invalid. The key evidence, the wallet that supposedly linked Michael to the crime, had been re-examined, and the results were undeniable. The fingerprints on the wallet did not belong to Michael Weston. They belonged to someone else entirely, someone with a criminal record, someone who had tried to frame him. The room erupted in whispers and gasps. Michael's heart swelled with relief as he realized that he would not be spending the rest of his life in prison for a crime he did not commit. He could feel the weight of the past weeks lifting off his shoulders. He had spent so many sleepless nights wondering if he would ever see the light of day again. But now, the truth had emerged, and with it, a newfound sense of freedom. It all began when Michael Weston had been accused of a robbery that went horribly wrong. A store was held up at gunpoint, and during the struggle, an innocent bystander was killed. Michael had been picked out of a lineup and charged based on shaky eyewitness accounts and circumstantial evidence. But one piece of evidence was considered to be irrefutable: the fingerprints found on a wallet that was allegedly dropped at the scene of the crime. For weeks, the prosecution had hammered this piece of evidence home, building a case around it that seemed foolproof. But Michael's defense attorney, Emma Stone, had her doubts from the start. She wasn't convinced that the wallet, which was supposedly Michael's, had actually been handled by him. She knew that in the criminal justice system, evidence could be manipulated, and she wasn't about to let her client's fate be sealed by a single, potentially flawed piece of evidence. After extensive research and re-examination, Emma discovered that the forensic analysis of the wallet had been rushed. She found discrepancies in the chain of custody, suggesting that the evidence could have been tampered with. But the final blow came when a deeper forensic test revealed that the fingerprints on the wallet didn't match Michael's at all. They didn't even match the description of his fingerprints on file. In fact, they matched someone with a criminal history, a man who had been known for his involvement in a similar crime. The moment the forensic expert had stepped into the courtroom and delivered this revelation, everything changed. The air had shifted. The prosecutor's face paled as he tried to grasp the magnitude of what had just been unveiled. The case he had worked so tirelessly to build was crumbling before his eyes. Emma stood confidently as the forensic expert explained that the wallet's fingerprints belonged to another individual. The man had apparently planted the wallet at the crime scene, hoping to implicate Michael in the robbery. The prosecution's once ironclad case had fallen apart in an instant. There was no longer any doubt. Michael Weston was innocent. The judge had no choice but to immediately announce the dismissal of all charges against Michael. The jury, who had been skeptical of the prosecution's arguments throughout the trial, now sat in stunned silence as the truth was laid bare before them. The room, once tense with uncertainty, was now filled with a hum of disbelief. Michael Weston, the man they had all presumed guilty, was free. As the judge called the court to a close, Emma turned to Michael. He was still processing the events, his mind racing, but the relief in his eyes was unmistakable. He had been on the brink of losing everything: his freedom, his future, his life. But thanks to Emma's relentless pursuit of the truth, he had been given a second chance. "I don't know how to thank you," Michael said, his voice thick with emotion as he looked at Emma. Emma smiled softly, shaking her head. "You don't have to thank me. You did all the hard work. You stayed strong. The truth always comes out in the end." Michael's shoulders finally relaxed as he let out a deep breath. For the first time in weeks, he felt like he could finally exhale, like he could go on with his life without the shadow of guilt hanging over him. As the courtroom emptied, Emma and Michael stood together outside, the sun shining down on them as they shared a quiet moment of victory. Emma knew that this case, this victory, would stay with her for the rest of her career. It was a reminder of why she had become a lawyer in the first place: to fight for justice, to fight for the truth, and to make sure that the innocent were never forgotten. Michael turned to Emma, his face breaking into a grin. "I never thought I'd be here, but I'm glad you were by my side. I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't stepped in." Emma smiled back, her heart swelling with pride. "You did the most important thing, believing in yourself. And that's what got us here. Now it's time to go out there and live your life." As they walked away from the courthouse, Michael took one last look at the building behind him. He had been through hell, but now he was free. The truth had set him free. This story is a testament to the power of resilience and the importance of fighting for the truth, no matter how difficult it may be. Emma's determination to uncover the flaws in the case and Michael's unwavering belief in his own innocence were the keys to his freedom. The lesson is clear. Never let the truth be buried. Fight for what's right, even when the odds are stacked against you. Hit that like button and subscribe for more crime uncovered videos.